What's up, guys? Non Super Mario here, and welcome to the stream. Yay! Maybe you are surprised or sad, but I'm alone. I'm alone here to talk about Loki episode 1 spoiler review. Unfortunately, Matisse has to work, and his work schedule and his stream schedule is conflicting each other, or however you want to say it. So, probably for all the 6 episodes, it's gonna be just me on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central European Time without Matit. So I'm sorry if you wanted him and his opinion on the episodes. We will try to do it together when we can. If not, it's going to be only me. If maybe the schedule changes that I'm not going to do this on Wednesdays, then that I'm going to do it on some other days, I'm going to let you know. But yeah, it's just me. Hi, hello, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're having an amazing day. It's freaking hot here as hell, so if you're gonna hear a beep, it's my AC because I have to turn it on. But nevertheless, hopefully you're gonna enjoy this. Like I said, now next 6 Wednesdays we're gonna have Loki, and we're gonna have Loki to talk about, of course. It's been a month since the last, I think, the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which, as you already know if you watch this channel, wasn't like a huge fan of it. I think it was good, like between okay and good. I kind of felt like they missed some of the things, and I know the pandemic caused a lot of reshoots and all those things, which made the whole shoot and the whole show kind of convoluted and not making really sense. I did rewatch it, like the whole season altogether as a movie, and it actually works better, to be completely honest, as to watch it in one go. But yeah, I still prefer WandaVision over Falcon and Winter Soldier, but we are here to talk about Loki. And let's just say this thing first. I feel like that when Loki was announced that it's gonna be a show and all those things, I was like, okay, of course I'm gonna watch it. It's Marvel, it's MCU, but I wasn't. It was one of those shows that was at the bottom of my like most anticipated shows in the MCU, just because we have seen so much of Loki that I was like, yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be interesting, but it wasn't my priority. Then when the first trailer dropped, I was blown away. I think that the trailer did what the trailer is supposed to do, and it made me hyped. And I think that a lot of people were kind of in the same boat as I was, not as excited for Loki, but when the trailer dropped, people were like, bam, this is amazing. So now let's just go to the Loki episode 1 recap, spoiler heavy. So if you haven't seen it, beware that I'm gonna talk about spoilers, the things that happened in the first episode, and if you don't want to know what happened, well, watch my reaction, which is on the channel as well. Watch the episode and come back, because this stream is gonna become a video, and you will be able to watch this thingy afterwards. But nevertheless, my overall thoughts on the episode: amazing. I feel like that this show started on a high note. If WandaVision started on a really good note, being completely unique and weird and quirky, but I was kind of like, okay, there were 2 episodes released at the same time, so we are now hearing this black and white weirdness. What the heck is going on? Falcon and Winter Soldier was much more straightforward. You've got these characters. This has happened in the previous movies. This one is just so good at reintroducing to the Loki that is not our Loki that we like end up with in Endgame, because we all know what happens with him. Well, not in Endgame, in Infinity War, what happened with our Loki. We got him in Endgame as well, because we start this episode immediately where we left Loki, where we left with Loki in Endgame, taking the Tesseract and going somewhere. The one thing that kind of surprised me, I don't know I mean, he used Tesseract many times before, but it kind of felt like that he didn't know where he was going, and he ended up in the middle of Mongolia. Was that just him being like reckless and just let's go somewhere and escape the Avengers, or was that TVA doing something to put him there so that they can easily or in a much easier way get him? And we end up in Mongolia, and TVA takes him. We meet Vunmuz Musako's character. I'm sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing her name. She was in Lovecraft Country. She was also in that movie His House, Her House, The House, that was on Netflix. So we meet her character. She's like a TVA agent or agent who works for TVA. That's pretty much the same thing, so I don't know why I said it twice. And she takes Loki to the TVA. And I like the TVA. I think the way they explain TVA in this episode is absolutely perfect. Yes, they use a lot of exposition, but the way exposition is done in this episode is brilliant. We get an animated version where Miss Minutes is explaining who Timekeepers are, what TVA is, what they're doing, what they're trying to prevent. This was like the first time that, yes, we were kind of introduced to the multiverse in Endgame, where the Ancient One was explaining the flow of time and what happens if something like causes the abnormality that the time flow like kind of splits. Miss Minutes does an amazing job to explain even further how the time works and what TVA is doing and what Timekeepers are doing. So I really like that about this episode. I think that now as audience we better understand what multiverse is in MCU and what is gonna be. Even though I am sure it's gonna go very, very crazy. I mean, Doctor Strange sequel is titled Madness of Multiverse or Multiverse of Madness, which means it's gonna go crazy. But I really liked the explanation what TVA is doing and what TVA as an agency is. And of course, Loki is now at the TVA. This is the Loki from Avengers, which is not our Loki. This Loki's purpose is only being the leader, being the ruler of all, trying to hurt people and get his kingdom, being a king of Asgard and Midgard and all those realms, 9 realms. So I really liked what they did with Loki in this episode and in this, like, at the beginning of this show. It's kind of like reintroduces Loki to us. I felt like Loki was the audience in a way, like an audience member, because he was experiencing what we were experiencing for the first time watching this episode, because he was in a place that he doesn't understand, doesn't believe actually exists. He says like it's an illusion, this is just a clever way to manipulate, and the Timekeepers are doing things just for their own good, and that could potentially be completely right. We don't really know why the Timekeepers are doing what they're doing, and what is the purpose behind that. If maybe Timekeepers are like sometimes good, sometimes bad, we don't know. I'm sure we're gonna figure it out throughout this show, but I think that Timekeepers' purpose is up in the air, I would say. But it kind of like it kind of gives us this mystery about this Timekeepers and what time actually is in MCU. So I really like that about this episode. And like I was saying, Loki, we get like a reintroducing of Loki. He kind of catches up with the MCU. Mobius, played by one and only Owen Wilson, who is absolutely amazing, and the chemistry he has with Tom Hiddleston is great. So I cannot wait to see more of that. He kind of because Loki gets to TVA, and TVA pretty much wants to reset him, which means probably erase him from reality or get him to the beginning of his existence, and then the circle is just circling all the time. I don't know how that works. It hasn't been explained. Even in this show, so far, we don't know what the reset button means. Does that mean that they go back to the beginning when they were born or whatever? But I'm sure we're gonna get it explained. But Mobius is that guy who believes that Loki has a bigger purpose for TVA. So that's why we get that amazing scene when Mobius is trying to figure out why is Loki doing what he is doing and what he was doing so far, and then showing him what actually is gonna happen to him or would happen to him if he wouldn't escape. Because one thing that was clearly said, that what Loki has done in Avengers Endgame shouldn't happen. What Avengers did should happen. So that was normal, and Timekeepers and TVA didn't do anything about Avengers messing with the timeline and time travel and all those things, because that was the normal flow of time. But what happened with Loki getting the Tesseract and escaping, that wasn't supposed to happen. So that was clearly explained, and I like that we now know that what happened in Infinity Saga is was meant to happen. So there was they did mess the time up, but everything that has happened is supposed to happen. So that's all good. But talking about Mobius, trying to figure out what is Loki's purpose, why is he doing what he's doing, and then showing him his future and what would happen, and then Loki kind of being afraid and not understanding what is going on and not believing that what Mobius is showing him is actually his reality, was great, because Tom Hiddleston showcases his amazing work as an actor, and the character gets even more depth, because Loki that now we have was the Loki that only thing that he was trying to do is prove himself and get rid of his insecurities, being this adopted son and trying to prove himself to the father, to the Odin, and then seeing that what happens with him, what happens with Frigga, what happens with Odin. I think he realizes that the person that he is right now, it's not the best version of him, which I really, really liked. And it was the best part of this episode, even though the whole episode was really, really good. That's pretty much about it about Loki. Then, of course, Loki, because he is God of Mischief, he escapes kind of for a second. Then everybody is chasing him, and Tesseract and all those magic voodoo juju do not work at the TVA, because I don't know why, but they're in a completely different time zone. They exist outside time, or however you want to call it. And I like that when he gets the Tesseract back, he sees Infinity Stones, and not just 6 of them, like a lot of them. And it's funny how that guy that explains him that those were kind of paperweights here. We get them a lot, which means that multiple different variants of Thanos or different other characters had tried what Thanos was trying, and they get them all the time, which I think it was really funny way to tell us how big of an importance TVA will have in the larger scale of MCU now. I think that's really, really awesome to see. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened in this episode that I think were really great. I think cinematography is really good, directed is really good. There are some hints to the things that are going to happen in the future in the next 5 episodes. And I'm very excited. I like that now that Loki has realized that where his purpose is, because he cannot go back to his time, because first of all, he knows he's going to die. and second of all, I think he realizes that it's better for him to be here and try to help Mobius, because Mobius is the reason why he's kind of alive, and also Mobius think that they need his help, because at the end of the day, Loki is a god of mischief and a very smart character, and I think that Mobius believes that Loki can help them find this dangerous person that they mentioned, and at the end they mention it's a Loki variant, and then we get that scene at the end, that hooded character who could be Lady Loki. I mean, an actress, I don't know her name, was spotted on the set wearing Loki outfit. That doesn't mean that Lady Loki is that person that we seen in this episode at the end, because I'm sure we're gonna see multiple Loki variants, and I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of other variants of other characters that we already have seen in the MCU, which is gonna be fun and interesting. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I felt like it was done really well. Script was phenomenal. I think that the way we felt watching this episode, Loki felt, and I think that getting that realization from Loki helped us, the audience, understand better who this Loki now is, how he feels, how multiverse works, how Timekeepers work, even though I'm sure that it's gonna get maybe more confusing or maybe more vast in a way. I really liked what they did with Loki in this episode in particular, and I cannot wait to see where the show goes next. Of course, we have to talk about Mephisto, because it appears that this dangerous Loki variant is killing, I mean, a lot of people. And then there was a scene in France, like in 18 something, because we did we were in different eras. We were in 1600s, then we were in 2012, of course, then we were in 1900s. So we kind of visited a lot of places and a lot of different times in a way. I don't know if that's in the same time or in that wasn't really explained, or is it in a separate timeline. But this Loki variant is killing people all over the place. Why, we don't know. But there was this France thingy where Mobius was exploring and discovering things, and this kid, when Mobius asked her who did this, pointed out to the devil photo, and everybody was like even before, because it was in the trailer, oh, Mephisto, Mephisto, Mephisto. I mean, could be, even though the director of this show has said that there's no Mephisto in this show. Could be lying, I mean, you never know. But I think I would rather be surprised when Mephisto appears, and if it is in this show or any movie, I don't really care. I think that yes, Mephisto is a big character in the MCU now that we are exploring the underworld and demonic places and all those things. I'm sure we are kind of very close to the time when Mephisto appears. But if it's not in this show, don't be disappointed. That's pretty much why I think the director said there's no Mephisto, because people were going crazy for Mephisto in WandaVision. So I kind of get it, why the director felt like I have to tell the fans and everybody there's no Mephisto. But you never know. But it was a nice nod, kind of because whenever we see a devil figure in MCU, Mephisto is the first character that everybody thinks about. But it could be just the devil, because it was such a bad thing that this Loki variant did, that's why the kid pointed out to the devil, because the only person that can do something like that is the devil. So I kind of like the correlation and metaphor around that. So I don't mind it if we get Mephisto, or if we don't, I don't care. I also liked the DB Cooper thing, like the biggest mystery in American history, kind of like this person hijacked a plane and then like jumped off a plane and was never found. I like that in this case that was Loki, and he lost a bet with Thor, and they kind of like made this joke and pranked everybody and stole some money, which I kind of like. I like it. I really liked the way they did that. And Loki kind of explained, I was young and stupid, so I like that addition to that. And hopefully, I wouldn't mind if we get more of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we do, and I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, this episode, I mean, overall, like I said, really enjoyed it. I think it's a really good start for the show, reintroducing Loki. Now we kind of know where Loki is. I'm sure Loki is going to try to escape. He's still God of Mischief, even though now he kind of understands where his path is going and is pretty much to be gone. And staying with TVA is going to help him stay alive. But I'm sure he's going to try every single way to escape. But Mobius is going to convince him that's not the best idea, blah, blah, blah. But I'm sure he's going to try and mess up some things along the way because it is Loki. But yeah, very excited for the next episode. Cannot wait it. Next Wednesday, of course. Hopefully is good. I'm sure it will. I mean, this one was really good, and people have seen the first 2 episodes and they really, really liked it. So I cannot wait to see the next episode. Hopefully you're gonna enjoy it. The episode, my reaction, and then of course my spoiler review afterwards every single Wednesday. So tune in for that. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I think I said pretty much everything. Probably missed a lot of things, but you can let me know in the comments or maybe in the chat if anybody is watching. I would really appreciate that. And if you have any theories of your own, let me know in the comments. I will gladly go through it and we can talk about it in the comments down below. But yeah, nevertheless, anyway, that's it pretty much. Like, share, subscribe, all those things. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I do use them a bit. I'm not really into it very much, but I do use them. So go check me out there. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you for watching and thank you for tuning in. And I will see you next time, next Wednesday. That's pretty much it. Let's go. Bam. Bye-bye.